Today's video, I don't even know where we're going. I'm just sitting here on a Monday in November. It's cold and dark outside here in British Columbia, Canada. And I'm like, what do I do today? What do I make a video on? And so if you guys have suggestions, you can put them in the comments. But I'm just gonna do some real talk today because I sat here and thought, if I could make a video on one thing that would help people, what would it be? Thus, the topic of today's video is going to be on why you are not generating enough creatives, why you're just not doing enough, guys. Whether you're generating leads and selling them for a profit, hopefully you're running a lead generation business, or you're generating leads for your own business. You're a life insurance agent, you're an HVAC person, you're a roofer, whatever. You need to be able to generate a lot of different creatives. And so in today's Ryan's rant, we're just going to talk about that. So how many creatives should you be generating when you're running Meta or Google Ads or TikTok or whatever it is? In my opinion, you're probably doing 10x less than what you should be. So a lot of people come into Leadbase free or pro and they show me some of the ads that they've made. And what they've done is they've created maybe 5 ads or maybe even 10 ads of one single format. And the issue with this is that we're just not giving Facebook enough to work with. So they've taken maybe our ugly Canva ad templates and they've created some text ads, or they used AI to make some ads of a family standing in front of a house with some text over it, or they've even gone and made some videos. The issue with just doing this and only this is that if that doesn't work, you're going to sit there thinking, oh, I guess my ads don't work, or I guess that something's wrong with my funnel, or I guess. You're just guessing at this point. And what we want to do as lead generators is be able to throw a lot of stuff at the wall and see what sticks. And so we've always had the philosophy of testing like crazy, testing a ton of creatives, testing a lot of headlines, funnels, test one thing at a time and continue to improve on what you're doing. And I think that's just a culture shift. Maybe that's a little intense a phrase to use, but that's something I want to see happen more at Leadbase, is for you guys to obviously, ask questions, throw your creatives at us. We can give you our feedback, but go and test. I'm talking like 30 to 40 creatives and concepts and hooks and offers. And so I'll show you a little bit of my brainstorm process in a second, and then I'll talk about some of the tools that you can use, and we'll kind of just leave it at that because that's what I really want to get across in this video. When you set up the first ad you've ever set up, or it's your 100th campaign that you've set up, hopefully you're testing a lot of different concepts, hooks, offers, different types of creative formats, because especially with Andromeda now, they want you to be using a lot of different types of creative entities, they call it. So that could be an AI video, that could be a real human walking down the street video, that could be a simple text-based ad, that could be a kind of corporate ad or a family looking ad. All these different types of concepts, you're going to want to mix and match them because you never really know what's going to work until you try it. So here's a couple things that you can do to develop some creative variants. I've got some of the niche swipe files here that we've shared with the community. I'll link to all of these in the description of this video so you can check them out. Let's just go through and see how many different creative entities that we have here. And again, creative entities are what Facebook with Andromeda, it's how they look at your ads. This is another great video that I'll put in the description. Someone shared it in Leadbase Pro, and this guy talked about entity ID. It's like a fingerprint of your ad. The creative ID is a unique ID assigned when you build out an ad in Ads Manager. Even if you duplicate an ad, it will have its own creative ID, but it's likely going to have the same entity ID if your ad is too similar. So he gave the example here. I know this is kind of weird. I'm just going through someone else's video. But he gave the example of this is going to have, these two will have different creative IDs. However, on the back end, they will have the same entity ID. This is the same ad to Facebook, essentially, okay? If we go to something like this, in this example, the creative different, so our system would assign these creatives different entity IDs. So what we want to do is have different entity IDs as much as possible when we're testing things out. I want to have six to 10 entity IDs with maybe 5 variants of each. Okay, that would be 30 to 50 ads, for example, okay? So we want to make sure that we're varying our creative enough so that we aren't just being considered by Facebook to have the exact same ad. So even this one, in this example, the creative looks similar but not identical. So our system may still assign it the same entity ID if the image is considered the same by our system. So this could still be considered the same ad because it's a close-up of the sunglasses. So it's similar enough that Facebook would consider it the same. And I think this is a problem a lot of people are running into that I see in Leadbase is they send me maybe they'll even do like 10 ads, but they're all so similar that it's not testing enough. And on one side of it, there's Andromeda, which is, an algorithm that is assigning numbers to this and predictive outcomes and showing this to people, and there's like a way to optimize that. There's also people on the other end of this. Obviously, that's the most important part, is the person that's going to become the lead. And if we just give them 10 of the same images, there's not enough really variance there that we're testing. We're not going to find out what's actually resonating with the audience. So that's why this is an issue, and you need, again, we're going to call it different creative entities because that's the language Facebook is using. Creative entity variance. We need to have that to be successful on Facebook or Google or TikTok or whatever it is. Even when we're not talking about Andromeda on Google, we have an insane amount of creative and like entity IDs that we're testing all the time. Okay, back to these swipe files. I just did a video on some solar stuff, so I've got some newer ads to share there, but let's just click through these. We don't have any in there. Bathroom reno, do we have any of those? Videos. So we did some revid ones there. That's one that you can do. These are some of these are older, so I'm kind of looking through them. Let's go through this solar one. So we've got a revid video, which is like a explainer video. That's one creative entity. We've got, this is like a guy in front of a house. That's 2 creative entities, 3 creative entities. This would be considered 4 creative entities, 5, 6, potentially 7, but probably still 6, probably still 6. Still 6 because we have a revid already. 7, an AI spokesperson. This potentially would fall into the other. We have 7 here. A video of an ugly ad, that would probably be 8. So we have 7 or 8 creative variants here, and I did that in 20 minutes, okay? So it's not that hard to go and create a bunch of these at once. I've got, these are some old ones that I made. This is revid, but it's more of a real AI rendering as opposed to like a diagram focused one. So I would consider that probably 9 different creative entities now. This could be 10 because it's a different concept. So again, maybe I'm not perfect in terms of determining what the different entities are, but at the very like conservative number, we have 5 or 6 different creative entities here. And again, that's all fine and dandy with Andromeda. We could have 5, terrible ads that don't work still. We still need to have strong creatives, which is why, we focus on having a really strong hook and a really strong offer in our ads, but varying that creative is going to be very important, because we want to test at the end of the day, test these different things. So this could be another variant as well. Like again, the classic family with like some sort of like iPad thing in front of them. I find those don't work too well now. So, but it's still worth testing. Let's look at final expense. We only need a few there. I'm kind of working on this folder and revamping it a little bit. Again, I'd say conservatively, we have 6 entities. Maybe we even have up to 10. It's really hard to say what Facebook considers a creative entity based on that presentation and things that I've seen. But at the end of the day, again, we have a lot of different stuff that we can test here. And so what I like to do when I want to start brainstorming ads like this is I go to our Leadbase Pro Copywriter. I promise I did not mean to just bring this up in this video to push you to Leadbase Pro, link in the description, as the ad here. You can totally just make your own chat, GPT. This just preloaded some of our ad content in. Again, you can make your own very easily. You can tell it what kind of ads you want to make, give it formats. It's not that hard to build. But if you want access to this, you can join Leadbase Pro. Sorry, shameless plug, guys. This is brought to you by Leadbase, this video, obviously, okay? So I'm gonna ask you guys to sign up for $99, cancel anytime below, but I'm also gonna give you a lot of free stuff and a lot of free content over, I think we've done 300 plus videos on this channel at this point. Spend a lot of time doing this, and it's very, very fun. What I like to do when I'm starting is I go to our GPT that we've built, and this just, I don't wanna develop too much cognitive debt here. I don't wanna get too stupid, but this just helps me get started. Okay, so if I'm in, let's say I'm in, what's a fun, let's go, what's it called? Personal injury, because that's a hot topic lately. A lot of people talking about it for whatever reason. Personal injury lawyer, I can't spell, lawyer. The offer is don't pay unless we win, and we will get you way more than going yourself. And who's the target audience? Audience is USA, age 30 to 65. This is Meta and Google. Cold traffic. Open to new offers. And I always like to run the offer because offers have been overused so much at this point. Maybe an offer / hook around mistrust with this industry. I was actually just in Phoenix and I was driving down the highway and I see every single billboard is like this guy Rafi or Sweet James or all these lawyers. Like you just are bombarded with like sue your neighbor ads, which I think is kind of hilarious being a Canadian. No judgment, But it's just funny. And maybe people are like, I'm not gonna, these lawyers are all scammy. I don't want to work with them. I don't trust them. So maybe an ad around mistrust with the industry, with this legal industry, and how we aren't like the other sleazy lawyers out there. I always like to do that because I've tried this with solar, with a lot of with timeshare cancellation. We used to be in that. We call out the scam first, like, hey, there's a lot of people you can't trust in this industry. Let us help you find the person you can trust. Okay, so I'm going to give it this. It's going to give us some ads to start with, and then that's also going to help me build out my hooks. I'm not actually going to go into making ads in this video. I just wanted to kind of rant in this video for you guys because it's just that type of day. So we've got a math and logic ad, we got a trust-based ad, we got a fear and consequence ad, we got a personal story, an only for you angle. So these are just a few different angles you can go with, and these are going to help you create your different entity IDs. So math and logic ad, I'd be like, make me a 1080 by 1080 meta ad using the math and logic ad as a guideline. Keep the text light. Something like that. Again, I'm just going to mess around. I'm going to riff. I'm going to take this ad. I might plug it into Revid, Nano Banana. I might have ChatGPT create some images. I'd use Canva. I'd use the templates on Canva. I'd go in the backyard and film a walk and talk video where I'm like, are you tired of lawyers promising the world and getting you nothing? With Legal Defender, we're going to help refer you to a lawyer that isn't a sleaze bag. Click below. I just went outside and filmed like 20 videos the other day for one of our brands. I just walk around the yard pacing back and forth and I read different scripts. It's something you can do yourself. Or if you really want to hire someone, you can go on Billo and hire somebody on Billo. Okay, so we're already expanding our creative entities here and our creative variants by just brainstorming. One would be different platforms that you can create ads on, image ads, video ads, AI ads, all these different things. And then another is different creative angles. This is going to help us brainstorm as we go, right? So math focus. I might have a chalkboard that's writing the payout. So it's like, what does it say? Represented claims over 44,000. Most self-injury claims settle for 4,000. So they're going to get you 10x the payout or 11x the payout. That's going to be on the chalkboard, and it's going to be like, our take, you win this much just for doing a consultation. This one, tired of sleazy lawyers. Maybe it's an image of like a really sleaze bag lawyer, and you're like, someone's scared of him. I don't know. That's another creative entity ID. It's fine until it isn't. After an accident, you could just take the first check they offer. Maybe it's a check and it's got like, $1,200 scratched out and it's 120,000. Okay, there's another creative entity ID. Again, this is going to help me brainstorm over time. There's way too much text on this ad, but you guys get the idea. This is kind of like one of our Canva ugly ads, but it's a little bit less ugly. That's another creative entity ID. So hopefully, guys, this helps you as you go through and brainstorm ads. If you've never run ads before, please sit down for a couple hours. Again, while you're watching your Netflix or whatever you're going to do, you can just sit. Sometimes I do this. If my wife's watching a show that I don't feel like watching, I'll just bring my laptop up and I'll be like, I don't really feel like watching this. I'm going to make 50 ads. I like to do this manually. We do have one of our coaches, George, who just did a training on this in Leadbase Pro, where he shows you how to, use APIs and automations to just pump out ads like crazy and test ads like crazy. We are implementing some of that stuff in our business, but sometimes I just like to go through, especially when I'm starting a new niche, and really learn the ins and outs of the hooks, and then go and test it and see what resonates with people. Because the hook that you don't think is going to resonate, the creative that you don't think is going to resonate, is often the one that resonates with your audience. And so you just got to test, guys. You got to test. I just look, if you come to me and you show me 3 ads and you're like, this is what I'm running, I'm still going to be nice to you because I'm a nice guy, but I'm going to say, go and make 30 ads. And that is the moral of the story, guys. I hope you enjoyed the rant in today's video. I was feeling a little gloomy. It's raining. It's cold. It's sad here in Vancouver. And so I just wanted to level with you guys today. Hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have suggestions for other videos, because I'm just feeling a little uninspired. Just real talk today, guys. I'm a real human on the other side of that screen, just like your leads are. So yeah, if you guys got any ideas, comment below. Please like and subscribe and join Leadbase Pro if you want to learn more about building a lead generation business, or you want to generate leads for your business and you're tired of paying for leads or doing a terrible job of generating them. All right, we'll see you in the next video. Hopefully I have more ideas then.